warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, I'm Elisa Maisara as the first speaker from the opposite team will introduce my partner in my team. For the first, I'm Elisa Maisara as the first speaker will talk about social point of view. And my second speaker is Salsabila Aulia will talk about economic and healthy point of view. For the last, we have Maulida Sukmalastari as the third speaker will stronger our argument with the proof. Okay, our hard question today is the government should not obligate airplane passengers to be fully vaccinated if they are able to show a valid 24-hour PCR test result. Okay, I will give definition about this question today. Vaccinate. What is the meaning of vaccinate, Judge? Vaccine is an effort to save our humans for the virus, include their coronavirus. Vaccinate so important to our region for save our region from the epidemic. Okay, the second one is PCR. What is the PCR, Judge? PCR is polymerase chain reaction. It's an examination method that works to increase amplitude in virus DNA enzymatically. Okay, in this era, we are in the COVID-19 situation. COVID-19 so dangerous for our country because of COVID-19 can make our human feel sick and they cannot do their job. So, to save our humans, our government give regulation about the COVID-19. One of regulation is vaccinate. Just a little from us not agree with this statement. So, it can be the reason why this motion severe and we should discussing today. Okay, let me introduce my argument. As the first speaker said that absolutely disagree with this motion today. If we don't vaccine, it trigger it give bad impact for our society. Why I can say like that, Judge? In this COVID-19 era, we should save our body, right? But not a little of us assume that are vaccinated for is not important. They just do the vaccinate for our regulation, not for their body. Now our government has a regulation to get vaccinated, and if we not vaccinate, we can have COVID-19. We cannot go to school, we cannot go to do their job or etc. So, our residents have bad view to our governments. They not want to get vaccine because of PCR result can make they go to anywhere, right? They just feel vaccine is not important, so they just do PCR, and the PCR result just give expose about COVID-19 disease in our body. From megapolitan.com report that the result of PCR came out for 3 hours after being tested from our body. So we know that the result of PCR is 3 hours after test and that things that guaranteed us from the COVID-19. We go test in the morning, and the result came out in afternoon, right? After we tested, we go home, Judge. And on the way home, we meet a lot of people, right? How about we have the COVID-19 in this situation? We have tested, and after that we met a lot of people. Did the examiner know about effect the COVID-19 virus? No, Judge, they did not. Okay, the result from the test is different with our situation. So from that we know that if we not get vaccinated, we can assume that we free from the COVID-19. If we have do the PCR test not guaranteed us from the COVID-19. The result just give describe about the COVID-19 in our body, not to save our immune from the COVID-19. So, as the first speaker from the opposite team said that, and I'm absolutely disagree with this statement. Okay, let me into. Okay, I close my case. Thank you.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable to judge, honorable to MC, honorable to timekeeper, honorable to affirmative team, and honorable to my best team, opposite team. Okay, judge, I'm Sasabila Olwe, as second speaker from opposite team. I really disagree about our mission today that the government should not obligate airplane passengers to be fully vaccinated if they are able to show a valid 24 hours PCR test result. Okay, judge, let me to talk my first argument about healthy sector. If the government should not obligate the vaccinated to airplane passenger that can give the bad impact for people healthy, why I can say like that, judge? Because if people just show their PCR test, we can guarantee if they will stay avoid from COVID-19 virus. In this case, the PCR to show a valid just 24 hour, judge. We not know when they at the airport, and in the airport so many people that possibility bring the COVID-19 virus. Judge, how if the people just saw their PCR when they was infected the COVID-19 virus? So when they enter to airplane, they will impact the scatter of COVID-19 virus to every people at the airplane. Judge, so we need vaccinated to guarantee our body to stay healthy and guaranteed, judge. So judge, the vaccinated can increase our immune of body from COVID-19 virus and can decrease the potential impact of COVID-19 virus pandemic. Different with PCR, judge. PCR just a test that cannot guarantee our healthy. From that, we can conclude if government should obligate the airplane passengers to be fully vaccinated, because vaccinated can increase our immune body to fight the COVID-19 virus pandemic, and the PCR just show the test, judge. So that why a second speaker from opposite team really disagree about our motion today. Okay, judge, let me to start my second argument about economic sector. If the government should not obligate the vaccinated to airplane passenger that can give the negative impact for economy on the country. Why I can select that, judge? In my argument before, I was explained PCR cannot guarantee if we stay at the negative or positive COVID-19 virus, and if exists person that was infected with COVID-19 happen more, and more people can get sick because they not vaccinated yet. So the risk of COVID-19 virus in humans' body more dangerous, judge. So with this, many people that leave their work, judge, it is so bad for our economy, judge. Because many of company can get the reduction in work effectiveness. Can you imagine, judge? You have the company and your employees of your company many that take leave. So of course, you feel frustrated, judge. I get a proof from www.cnn.com Friday 18 June 2020 report that 652 employees of dua kelinci company in Pati positive COVID-19 virus. So from that, judge, we can conclude the government should not obligate the vaccinated to airplane passenger to result a reduction the effectiveness of the economy on our country. So that way, as second speaker, I really disagree about our motion today. Okay, Judge. I close my case. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable to judge, honorable to timekeeper, honorable to MC, honorable to negative, honorable to positive team, and my best team, negative team. I'm Maulida Sukmalastari as the third speaker from the negative team. Okay, I will give you more example and more evidence about this motion today that THBT, the government should not obligate airplane passenger to be fully vaccinated if they are able to show a valid 24-hour PCR test result. My first speaker said that social point of view. I get the proof. www.liputan6.com case of counterfeiting PCR test at Halim Airport. Perpetrator said a price of 600,000 rupiah. Outrage over alleged PCR manipulation. BNPB reveals 30% of foreigners found positive for COVID-19 in second test. This is very dangerous, Judge, because this is not only about healthy but increased fraud in our country. Okay, I will continue with my argument with second speaker from my second speaker. Talk about healthy and economic point of view. Furthermore, the PCR test is also to confirm the result of the COVID-19 rapid test. Moreover, many claim to surprise it after being tested positive corona, even though they routinely carry out PCR COVID-19 tests. From Instagram account Indra Frenos at Dr. Mutan, that way, the PCR test will no longer be a reference for the people recovering from COVID-19. For this reason, Indra said that if there were relative or co-workers who were exposed to COVID-19, they were not asked whether the PCR result had been obtained because it was not a reference for someone who has declared negative from COVID-19. Okay, I will talk about economic point of view. Showing a decrease in poverty in recent years, poverty has increased again of the COVID-19 pandemic. One in 10 people in Indonesia today live below the national poverty line. Child poverty rates can also increase when socio-economic condition of the pandemic could be much worse. I get a proof from www.journal.feb.umful.com. Indonesia obviously experienced a recession due to the COVID-19 pandemic after the third quarter, same period in 2019. This is the first recession after the 1998 monetary crisis. I'm Maulida Sukmalastari as the third speaker from the negative team. I said I'm really disagree about this motion today that THBT, the government should not obligate airplane passengers to be fully vaccinated if they're able to show a valid 24-hour PCR the result. I close my case. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.